Hello, everyone. It is 12:30 on a Thursday. You know what that means. Stephanie Fine is here. Dr. Stephanie Fine here to help you through everything, but particularly maintain your weight loss. But in the times of Corona, which is what we're dealing with now, what's the most important thing to manage is your mind. And it's, of course, directly connected to maintaining your weight loss and your weight. So because it's our mind that goes crazy that then makes us stuff our face so we can calm it down, right? We talked about this last week. I did 2 lives. You can see those videos on the blog. If you go to stephaniefinemd.com, you go to the blog. It was the ounce of prevention from last week, cope. How to cope without eating everything in sight. Check out at the bottom of that blog are the 2 videos. And also you can get the workbook too, which will really help during this time because it can be a crazy making time, but I am here today to talk to you about how to not let it be. So we're talking about preventing cabin fever because that's coming. It's managing your mind is the most important thing you're going to be able to do in the next time if you're in lockdown. Now, most of the people in the United States should be inside, only going out to get groceries. Hopefully that's not very often, or walking your dog or getting medicine. I think these are the things. You can, as of today, you can still walk for exercise, but you still have to be, and they've said 10 feet away from people. So if there's other people walking down the street, you cross the street, that kind of thing. So it's not usual for us to be in one spot for hours and hours and days and weeks on end, because I will say that this is likely going on for certainly longer than they thought, but I would plan on it through the end of May. I don't know everything, certainly. I have no inside information that you don't have. But in terms of the way that viruses work, I would think about May being the time. So the point is that you're going to be inside for a long time. So I am here to help you prevent going nutty. And the reason that it's important is because you are needed. You are needed. You are a leader in your community, in your family, for a friend, for a spouse, for the colleagues, the people who you serve, all of that. We need calm, rational people who can have the fortitude to make it through the weeks that we have to make it through, which of course you can, and of course you're going to make it, but can you make it with your sanity intact? And that's what we're doing, and ideally at a weight you want to be. So that's what we're talking about. And the best way, one of the most important things you can do to prevent yourself from going a little stir crazy is having a routine. Gotta have a routine. So that it's not just a free-for-all pajama party all day long. Now, nothing's wrong with pajamas. Love me some pajamas. But this is a mental exercise, what we're talking about here, okay? So there has to be, and especially if you have family, if you have children, then a structure and routine is so important for them. That's already a known fact, right? But in this time for yourself, being conscious of how you're creating your time is going to be really important. So I have daily sanity planner pages, which is a 1-page thing that you can Xerox or just print out a bunch of times to schedule your day. And here are the pieces that I think are the most important, that if you just have these pieces in, you're fine. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But first, one of the things that is needed to be practiced right now is compassion. Compassion for yourself, for the feelings that you have, for dealing with the fear, for compassion for how other people in your life are dealing with all this. We need liberal amounts of compassion to go around so that we can all get through this together, okay? So compassion is the underlying important thing that we need, and then the plan is the next thing that's really important. So in a day, this is what would be ideal. Sleep. Sleep is the most important for your immune system and for you to be well rested. What we're trying to prevent is depression, really, because when you get in a hopeless, fearful state, you can get into a spiral, and it's not good for anybody. The other way you could go is anxiety, and a lot of it. And that's what we want to prevent also. When you have a plan, literally a plan, it is much less likely to happen because you just do what's the next thing on the plan. Now, some people are great at plans and they can get, really specific. I'm just talking about some really basic, big things that I want you to have in your plan. So the sleep. What's important about the sleep is going to bed around the same time and waking up around the same time. I know that can be like, why, who cares? Because if your timing doesn't matter, it matters. Now, I'm not saying you can't go to bed at midnight. That's fine. If you go to bed at midnight every night and you wake up at 8 or 8:30, that's fine. That's your 8 hours, no problem. But it's if one night it's 2 in the morning because you just binge watch this, and then your other times it's 10 and then your sleep is going to get all messed up. You're not going to get good sleep, and it's going to be a problem. So this piece, like, watch whatever Netflix you want, but go to bed at 10 or whatever time it is that you want to go to bed. So getting that chunk, knowing where that chunk is. If you have kids in school, they're like doing, the computer school, you have a little bit of structure there. If they need to be up, there has to be breakfast, that sort of thing. So that's actually a good thing for you. But if you don't have that, I want you to have a wake up time. I'm not saying you have to pop out of bed and mow the lawn. I'm just saying have a wake up time. You may have a morning ritual that you do. Your journal in bed, you read in bed, fine. Just wake up at that normal time. Okay, so that's why sleep is super important. Your circadian rhythm for immune system, it's super important. Okay, sleep. The transitions to and from sleep are also really important. Okay, so that's the other piece that needs to go in your routine. Ideally, you're getting up and getting dressed. Whether there's a shower in there or not, that's up to you. It's nice to have a clean body. It's, we're cleaning ourselves. Certainly if you were outside at all, you're showering. But I'm just saying as a morning routine, it's really great. You can change into new sweats. I mean, you don't have to be getting into a suit if you're at home. But signaling to your mind that there's a break and now we're going into the activity part of the day. And at night you change into pajamas. I'm going into my sleep part of the day. Very, very important for your sanity. Remember, we're here for a bunch of weeks still. I want you to get in the habit of this. This is a preventative, okay? So some sort of morning routine to get you set up for the day and some sort of evening routine to get you ready for sleep. That's when you put away your electronics, and that's when you brush your teeth, and maybe you take a bath or you do some reading. Whatever the routine is, you do it. So now we have sleep and transitions. Then we have meals. So meals are so different now, aren't they? Because most of them are at home. So you're cooking or you're preparing in some way, and having regular meal times, again, none of these things have to be militant, like where it has to be at a certain time, although that will help. But if you're generally eating between 8 and 9 in the morning for your breakfast, and you're generally eating between 12 and 1, and then you're generally eating between 5 and 6 or 6 and 7, whatever it is, setting yourself up for regular meals influences your body regulation, certainly your insulin, and has your brain relax a little bit because it knows when it's going to eat. So you don't have to be snacking constantly because you're going to have breakfast, lunch, dinner. You also know you'll be satisfied at breakfast, lunch, dinner. You don't have to be worried about that. And then snacking becomes not necessary, or at least glaringly obvious that you're doing that for a different reason than needing fuel in your body. And that's really important to know that, because when you can identify that you did not need fuel, then you can decide, was I bored? Was I anxious? Was I afraid? When you get to that, overeating goes away. That snacking, that anxious eating, emotional eating goes away. So by setting up times, you are setting your body up, your meal times, you're setting your body up to have a regular routine, and you're setting up your best chance of not emotionally eating. Okay, so now we have sleep, transitions to day and evening. You have your meal times. So these are, you see it, your day is filling up. Movement. So as of right now, we're still allowed to go out and walk. I highly recommend that, highly, highly. If you can't go outside, like if you've been exposed and you literally cannot leave, which is the case, if you've been exposed or there's someone in your household who has coronavirus, you cannot go outside at all. So walk around your house. But there should be a time for that. After lunch or after, just make a time in the morning, first thing, whatever it is, whatever works for you is fine. But that it can be an anchor in your day. And if you can go outside, it is such a mood booster to be out in the fresh air, to be listening to the birds. I was just on a walk this morning and it was so beautiful to hear the birds singing. It was quiet except for that. It was just lovely. So we're talking about brain health, and that is a lot of brain health. So it can be 20 to 30 minutes. It does not have to be hours long. Certainly, if you wanted to, go for it. But what I'm looking for here is an anchor to your day, getting your body moving 20 to 30 minutes, okay? And then the last thing is activity. So all the rest, so you have your sleep, your transitions to and from sleep, your meals, your movement, okay? That does not take all day. Well, it certainly can, depending on how big of a family you have. So then the rest of the time is for activity. And it would be a great thing to put things there. That's when, if you have projects or you work, then you put that in there. Here's what I want to say. It can also be the time when you just binge out on Netflix. If this is just so stressful and it's everything you can do to get up and get dressed, put the effort into doing that and then veg out. Reach out to friends. You don't necessarily have to be productive. You just have to be aware and awake. So that's where the compassion comes in. If you're finding that you're like, all I can do is watch the TV, fine. Just do it in a clean pair of sweatpants. That's after your walk. That's all I'm saying. When you can get these basic pieces in and then fit the other stuff in around there, God bless you, you're going to be so much better off than if you're just rolling over, turning on the TV, rolling over to go back to sleep, and that sort of thing. That will lead you down a path that's not healthy for you. And remember, we want to keep our bodies and our minds healthy. Okay? Last piece, the news. So I want you to be informed, certainly, but anyone will be affected by the bad news. It's bad news, right? We have to be informed so we know what to do, but we don't need to scare ourselves silly. Now, ideally, what I would love is if you gave yourself a time limit. Like for 30 minutes each day, I go on the CBC website and I go and I don't know, another trusted website, and that's it, 30 minutes. You get your information. You will have time after that 30 minutes when your fear is heightened because you just put in a whole bunch of sort of scary information. It takes time to come down off of that, to get your brain back to thinking about your family and that you're okay right now and you have what you need and what to do. So that's why having one concentrated time of looking at it, I would say max 30 minutes, means that you have your hour of transition and then you can go back to having a healthy mindset. Okay, so really think about that. It really takes some time to get back to normal after you've been frightened for a while. So think about that. I am here for you. I will answer any questions you have. Put them underneath this post. I will happily answer them. Keeping your mental health in these weeks will be of utmost importance and give you the best chance of maintaining your weight loss. This is all weight work. It's mind work, but it's weight work. And it's very important. Be healthy, be safe. I'm sending so much love. Get a routine. Download the planner pages. They're free. You can have as many as you like, send them to friends. And just get a basic structure in there with sleep, transitions, meals, movement, and your activity. And you will be so far ahead with your mental capacity, your mental ability, that you will be able to do what's needed of you in the weeks to come. I love you. I will see you next week. Bye.